Welcome to SpillHood, your go-to spot for all the latest gossip, drama, and wild twists shaking up the news world. The Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef has been one of the craziest sagas in rap history, stretching over a decade. And somehow, it just got even more explosive. People online are losing their minds after new footage surfaced, showing Drake outside what appears to be Kendrick Lamar's home. The internet is spinning with theories. Is this a peace talk in the making, or are we witnessing the biggest plot twist in rap beef history? This feud has gone way beyond simple diss tracks. It's turned into a full-blown cultural moment. From Drake's mansion getting broken into, to Kendrick surviving what fans claim was a near-fatal setup, every chapter just gets darker and more shocking. And now, with footage of Drake pulling up near Kendrick's spot, fans are convinced something major is brewing behind the scenes. Some believe this might be a sign of reconciliation, while others think it's another mind game. But here's the wild part. Before all the smoke, these two actually had respect for each other.
Kendrick! You know what? Charles, grab me a shot. I'll drink to them. Grab me a shot.
Drake featured Kendrick on his Take Care album for Buried Alive interlude, and Kendrick returned the love with Poetic Justice on his legendary Good Kid, M.A.A.D. City. One thing's for sure, this story's far from over. They were even both featured on A$AP Rocky's hit, One Train. And let's be real, that track was a full-blown vibe back in 2012. But here's the plot twist no one saw coming. That same year, Kendrick Lamar was actually opening for Drake on his Club Paradise tour. Picture this, a calm, humble Kendrick from Compton, stepping on stage to hype up crowds before Drake's smooth mix of rap and R&B took over the night. That's wild, right? It's almost like watching your little brother grow into your toughest rival, except this little brother turned out to be a lyrical sniper who went on to win a Pulitzer Prize. Talk about evolution. But as the saying goes, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. The first real crack in their so-called friendship showed up in 2013, and it didn't just make noise, it shook the entire culture.
It's up and elevated too much?
Nah, I feel like that's it. It's like, you know, he's the new guy to love, and of course, I mean, rightfully so. He's super talented, you know. But thank you. But he's but he's like, you know, he is the underdog that's extremely hungry.
That's when Big Sean dropped Control, and Kendrick jumped on the track to make history. He didn't just rap, he declared battle on the entire rap scene. No sugarcoating, no sneak disses. This was a full-on lyrical explosion that's still echoing through the industry today. Kendrick's verse was pure audacity. He didn't just come for the legends. He came for his own generation, calling out his peers, including Drake. Imagine being at a family cookout and your cousin suddenly stands up mid-dinner yelling, "I'm coming for all of you." Yeah, that's exactly how wild that moment felt. That's exactly what Kendrick did to the whole rap scene. He didn't just rap, he declared dominance with confidence so sharp you could feel it. He spoke like a man who meant business, and from that moment, everyone realized this wasn't just some friendly lyrical sparring anymore. It was battle. The reaction was instant and explosive. Fans, blogs, and hip-hop heads went into a frenzy, debating line by line while every artist in the game tried to figure out how to clap back. Drake, being Drake, tried to keep his cool at first. In interviews, he brushed it off like it was nothing serious. But deep down, you could hear the irritation hiding in his tone. That calm, it's whatever energy started slipping once he realized Kendrick's verse had shifted the whole landscape. Drake started throwing little comments that showed the salt creeping through. He basically said that if Kendrick was really about that competitive life, he should have gone even harder. Like saying, if you're gonna come for me, you better come for me properly. That's classic subtle shade. What's so fascinating is how different these two handled the moment. Kendrick stayed cool and diplomatic when asked later, saying things like, hip-hop's a sport. I respect these guys as artists. But you could tell, behind that calm tone, something deeper was bubbling. It was respect mixed with rivalry, and both of them knew the storm was just getting started. Then Kendrick said something that really showed his mindset about competition in the rap game, and it spoke volumes about how he saw the entire situation. What he was basically saying was that the scene had gotten too relaxed, too safe, and the people weren't built for that real lyrical smoke anymore. He might have said it politely, but the message hit like a punch. It was the kind of statement that sounds calm until you realize it's actually a challenge in disguise. It's like saying no offense right before dropping a truth bomb. The damage is already done. From there, things slid into this decade-long Cold War between the two. They didn't go at each other directly, but the tension, oh, it was there. lurking in the lyrics. If you paid attention, the subliminals were floating around like whispers in the wind. It was like watching two people arguing through slick captions and cryptic posts without ever tagging each other. Drake would drop clever bars that sounded like subtle shots at Kendrick, and Kendrick would clap back with lines sharp enough to make fans go, "Wait, was that about Drake?" It became this poetic dance. Two lyrical giants circling each other, waiting to see who'd strike first. And as the years passed, the suspense only grew louder. Every interview, every single, every award show moment, fans were analyzing body language, scanning lyrics, and connecting dots like detectives. Everyone knew that when this silent tension finally broke, it was going to be massive. And when it finally blew up in 2024, oh, it didn't disappoint. It was pure chaos and totally worth the wait. Here's what makes this whole saga even more fascinating. During that entire decade of silent tension, both Drake and Kendrick Lamar were leveling up like never before.
I get it. I get the moment. Like, you know, he's a good guy. And like, I know that verse had no malice behind it because I saw him 5 days later at the VMAs and it was all love. So it's like, he didn't come on there on some wild, like, yeah, I'm in New York, everybody don't look at me. Like,
I'm the king.
So it was one of those things. It's like, I almost wish he had come in there on that because I kind of lost like a little respect for the sentiment of the verse. If it's really everybody, then it needs to be everybody. It just can't be halfway for the sake of the people. But you know what I'm saying? Like, for real, that's just how I feel.
Drake was turning into a global machine, shattering streaming records left and right, selling out arenas, and dominating the charts year after year. Meanwhile, Kendrick was solidifying his spot as one of the greatest lyricists to ever touch a mic, dropping masterpieces, shifting culture, and even walking away with a Pulitzer Prize for his album, Damn. That's legendary status right there. What's crazy is how their rivalry seemed to fuel their success. It's like they were locked in an unspoken competition, constantly pushing each other to go harder, to outdo the last move, without ever admitting it. That's pure competitive energy. Both were winning big, but it was clear they didn't just want success, they wanted to be the one on top. What's wild is how long they managed to keep things professional on the surface. In any other genre, that kind of tension would have exploded fast. But in rap culture, subliminal shots and coded disses are part of the art form. It's like watching two chess masters play with microphones instead of boards. Every move strategic, every lyric calculated.
I think hip-hop is a sport, so you're going to have these little spits and spats. And it's all good because, personally, I respect these dudes as, you know, as people.
Then came 2024 and everything flipped upside down. Future and Metro Boomin dropped We Don't Trust You, and Kendrick's verse on Like That threw gasoline on the fire. No more hidden messages, no more polite interviews, no more pretending everything was cool for the cameras. Kendrick came swinging with full force. He tore apart the so-called idea of a big three in rap and made it clear he wasn't here to share the crown anymore. When Kendrick dropped the line, "The big three, it's just big me," the entire rap world stopped. That wasn't just a diss, it was a full statement of dominance. He wasn't only coming for Drake, he was rewriting the entire power structure of modern rap. What Kendrick was really saying was, y'all can fight for second place, but I already own the top spot. That's next level confidence, the kind that can make you a legend or light the fuse for all-out battle. And that Prince versus Michael Jackson reference, genius and brutal at the same time. Drake's always seen himself as this generation's MJ, the crossover superstar who can own the charts and the culture at once. But Kendrick flipped the script, basically saying, cool, you're MJ, but I'm Prince, and I'll outlast you just like he did. That comparison hit hard, especially coming from someone known for his poetic precision. Then things went into overdrive. This wasn't a slow beef where songs drop every few months. This was a rapid-fire lyrical showdown playing out in real time. Both artists were dropping responses like heavyweight fighters trading blows. It felt like watching a live sports match where every round got more intense. Drake fired back with push-ups, proving he'd been waiting years for this. All that built-up tension finally had a target, and he didn't hold back. He went straight at Kendrick's image, his height, his pop collabs, even rumors about his control over radio play. It was bold, personal, and exactly the kind of lyrical smoke fans had been craving for years. Here's where things got real intense. This stopped being just about music. It turned personal fast. Once the accusations started flying about family matters and character issues, it was clear this had crossed way beyond the usual lyrical competition. What began as a battle of bars quickly turned into a public showdown that could damage both of their legacies.
I didn't think that was a big of a deal when I wrote the rhyme. You know, a diss record is a diss record where, you know, you
say something negative,
blatantly saying something negative about somebody. But I feel as though hip hop hasn't been, I guess it hasn't been competitive in so long. They take lines like that as a diss record.
People are hypersensitive.
The speed of how it escalated was wild. Within just a few weeks, we went from subliminal lines to open confrontation and then to serious personal claims. Drake's past suddenly became front-page news, and everyone online had something to say. Because in rap beef, once it gets personal, nothing is off limits. When two big names go at it, everything, your family, your old tweets, your mistakes, your DMs, it's all potential ammo waiting to be exposed. And let's be real. When it comes to Drake, there's no shortage of things people dig up. That's the price of being a global superstar for over a decade. Every move gets recorded, every word gets analyzed, and the internet never forgets. Fans got archives, blogs got receipts, and screenshots last forever. Drake's always lived his life in the spotlight. But lately, people started revisiting some uncomfortable chapters. One of the biggest controversies that resurfaced was his friendship with actress Millie Bobby Brown back in 2018, when she was still a young teen. Fans online didn't hold back, calling the situation strange and questioning his judgment. Even though Drake claimed it was innocent, that conversation became a major talking point once this feud reignited. At that point, it wasn't just a battle of bars anymore. It was about reputation, image, and how far both were willing to go to win. During an old interview, Millie Bobby Brown mentioned that she and Drake, who was 31 at the time, were texting regularly, and that he'd been giving her advice about boys. On paper, that might sound harmless, a successful artist mentoring a young up-and-coming star, but the internet wasn't buying it. Social media exploded with reactions, and people were like, wait a second, something about this doesn't sit right. Now, to be fair, nobody's saying anything illegal happened. But let's be honest, the optics were awkward. A grown man texting a teenage girl about relationships just didn't look good to the public eye. Even if the intentions were completely innocent, fans started debating, news outlets picked it up, and suddenly Drake's name was trending for all the wrong reasons. Drake later tried to address the whole situation in his 2023 track, Another Late Night, where he made it clear that he's only ever been interested in age-appropriate relationships, a line meant to shut down any rumors or misunderstandings. But by that point, the internet had already made up its mind, and people had screenshots, clips, and takes flying everywhere. Then things got even messier when old concert footage from 2010 resurfaced. It showed Drake performing in Denver, bringing a fan on stage. Nothing unusual at first. But then, when he asked her age and she said she was 17, the vibe shifted.
How old are you? I'm 17. Why do you look like that? You big.
Instead of stepping back, Drake made some playful remarks about her looks that didn't age well at all. Fans replayed the clip again and again, saying, did he really just say that on stage? That moment reignited all the online conversations, and suddenly what started as lyrical beef turned into a full-blown debate about Drake's behavior, image, and boundaries in the spotlight. And then, things got even worse. More footage surfaced showing Drake getting a little too comfortable with the young fan on stage. Now, legally speaking, the age of consent in Colorado is 17, so nothing illegal happened. But still, from a moral and public perspective, people weren't feeling it. Fans started questioning the power dynamic. A world-famous superstar getting physical with a teenage fan on stage? That's where people started side-eyeing Drake's judgment big time. But the internet detectives didn't stop there. Oh no, they dug deeper. People started connecting old clips, posts, and lyrics, building timelines like true digital investigators. They even pulled up that Valentine's Day moment where Drake joked about not having a Valentine except for two little girls. The internet instantly connected those comments to Millie Bobby Brown and Billie Eilish, both of whom were much younger when Drake began publicly supporting their music careers. Fans didn't like how that looked one bit. Then Kendrick came swinging with his track Euphoria, and he did not hold back. He called out Drake's behavior directly with wordplay that hit like a punch, flipping certified lover boy into certified pedophile. It was sharp, bold, and impossible to ignore. Kendrick didn't make any legal accusations, but his message was loud and clear. He was uncomfortable with what he saw, and he knew the world was watching too. But even that wasn't the end of it. Drake's relationship history is like its own reality show, full of twists, secrets, and drama that keeps unfolding. Remember Sophie Brousseau and his son Adonis? That story broke wide open during Drake's feud with Pusha T back in 2018. Drake had been keeping his son private, But Pusha exposed it all in his track, The Story of Adidon. Fans were stunned. Finding out your favorite rapper secretly had a child felt like a real-life plot twist no one saw coming.
We just texted each other the other day and he was like, I miss you so much. I was like, I miss you more.
You and Drake, that's awesome. That's awesome.
What advice does he give you? Like, what does he say?
About boys. He helps me.
What?
Yeah. He's great. He's wonderful. I love him.
What's his advice with boys?
You know, that stays in the text messages.
After the Pusha T drama, Drake tried keeping his personal life quiet, especially when it came to his son. But the way that information came out made it look like Drake wasn't ready for the world to know. And that didn't exactly help his public image. It had people wondering if he was trying to protect his privacy or hide something deeper. Then came a wave of legal troubles that kept his name floating in headlines. One of the biggest came from a woman named Layla Lace, who claimed Drake had gotten her pregnant. And when he didn't respond, she went public with her story. Drake fired back immediately, suing her for extortion and saying she was trying to pressure him with false claims to get money and attention. That legal move showed he wasn't about to let his reputation take a hit without a fight. But still, fans started noticing a pattern. Every few years, a new woman would pop up with some type of claim or wild story. Whether those accusations were true or exaggerated didn't even matter at that point. The sheer amount of them made Drake look like a man constantly surrounded by drama. His polished good guy image started cracking, and people began to see him in a different light. And just when things couldn't get any messier, Rick Ross jumped into the mix. During their own spat, Ross accused Drake of having cosmetic procedures, everything from a nose job to fake abs. He basically called Drake's image manufactured. Now, let's be real. There's nothing wrong with wanting to enhance your look, but when another rapper exposes you in the middle of a feud, that's pure chaos. It added another layer to Drake's ongoing saga of fame, image, and constant controversy. In rap culture, keeping it real is everything. The moment people start calling you manufactured, your credibility's on life support. That's why the whole plastic surgery rumor hit so hard. Not just because of what was said, but because of how it played out. The funniest and most awkward part, Drake's mom actually texted him asking if it was true, and he posted the message on Instagram. Picture that. Your mom sliding into your DMs like, son, did you really get a BBL? I saw it on Twitter. That's the kind of family moment that'll make anyone want to vanish off social media for a week. But behind the jokes, there was a much deeper issue bubbling. The long-standing conversation about Drake's relationship with hip-hop culture itself. Being half Jewish, Canadian, and raised in a comfortable neighborhood, some fans have always looked at him sideways. They accuse him of cashing in on Black American culture while never really understanding the roots or the struggle behind it. Those conversations got louder than ever during his feud with Kendrick Lamar. Fans and critics started calling Drake a culture vulture, saying he was just hopping on whatever sound was trending. One project he's using Atlanta trap flows, the next he's trying out UK drill, and then he's dropping tracks with Caribbean flavor. Like he's treating global music styles as accessories instead of art forms born from real pain and history.
Well, you know, I have no Valentine.
You have no Valentine?
Except for those two little girls from the Ellen Show. Yes, that's all I've got, man.
Man, you got a lot more than that.
And the timing couldn't have been worse. When you're going head-to-head with someone like Kendrick, an artist seen as one of the greatest lyricists alive, the last thing you want is for your old controversies to resurface. Suddenly, Drake wasn't just battling bars, he was battling perception. It's like stepping into the ring with your hands tied, trying to defend your crown while your entire past keeps swinging back at you. Two kings, different crowns. That's what this whole thing really comes down to. Now that we've gone through the drama, the shade, and all the chaos, it's time to talk about the real reason behind this beef. Because while everyone online was busy laughing at memes and gossip, Drake and Kendrick were waging a much deeper conflict. One about legacy, authenticity, and what it truly means to be the king of rap in 2024. This wasn't just two superstars throwing shots out of boredom. No way. This was a philosophical showdown between two completely different visions of what hip-hop should be in the modern era. Artistry versus industry, heart versus hustle, message versus money. That's what made this beef hit so hard and cut so deep. To really understand it, you've got to look at who these men are. Not just as rappers, but as people shaped by totally different worlds. Let's start with Kendrick Lamar. He came up in Compton, California, and not the glossy movie version, the real Compton.
How sure are you that you're pregnant by Drake and not somebody else?
Let me tell you something. And I'm going to just make this clear because, you know, I have been asked that before.
Mm-hmm.
I have a child, okay?
Okay.
I'm a mother already, okay? I know who I sleep with unprotected. So it's 100% sure he knows.
A place where gang culture isn't something you read about. It's what's outside your window every single day. It's the sound of sirens, the fear in your mom's voice, and the fight to survive another 24 hours. That environment built Kendrick. It gave his lyrics that raw pain and truth you can't fake. His parents had moved from Chicago to Compton, trying to find better opportunities. But even then, life was rough. His father had street ties, and Kendrick grew up seeing that reality firsthand. His mom, on the other hand, was always trying to pull the family away from that life, constantly praying, hoping, and pushing for something better. That tension between survival and success became the foundation of Kendrick's music. Every bar he spits carries that mix of pain, growth, and purpose. You can feel all of it in his tracks. The struggle, the reflection, the storytelling. Kendrick's art isn't just music. It's a diary of what it means to rise from chaos and still keep your soul intact. When Kendrick Lamar raps about struggle, about a system built to hold you back, about the weight of being black in America, he's not storytelling for entertainment. He's living it. Every verse he spits comes from real-life pain, real memories, and the real streets that shaped him. That's what gives his music that raw, unfiltered energy that hits straight to the heart. Now compare that to Drake's background. He grew up in Toronto's Forest Hill, which is basically the Canadian version of Beverly Hills, just with better healthcare. His mom was a Jewish Canadian teacher, and his dad was a talented musician from Memphis who played with legends. When his parents split, Drake stayed with his mom in an upper-class neighborhood surrounded by comfort and opportunity. But even with that, Drake said he always felt like an outsider, that he didn't fit in fully anywhere. It's an interesting contrast, right? Someone growing up with stability and money, yet still feeling disconnected from both worlds. Too suburban for the streets, too different for the elite. Now, nobody's saying growing up with money is bad. Everyone deserves safety, food, and a good life. But in hip-hop culture, where authenticity and struggle often define respect, coming from comfort versus chaos builds two very different types of artists. One is molded by survival, the other by ambition, and that divide runs deep in how both connect to the culture. And here's the wild twist. Drake didn't even start in music. His first claim to fame was as an actor on the Canadian teen show Degrassi, The Next Generation, where he played Jimmy Brooks, a basketball player who ends up in a wheelchair. Before he was topping charts, he was reading scripts. And that's exactly why some fans say Drake's biggest skill has always been performance. Whether on screen or in the booth, he knows how to sell a story. Imagine trying to convince hardcore rap fans that the kid from a Canadian teen drama suddenly had serious bars. Wild, right? That's like Zac Efron from High School Musical deciding he's the next Eazy-E. It just doesn't compute. The math ain't mathin', and you feel me? But here's where Drake proved he had real strategy. Instead of faking a street image he never lived, he flipped the game and made vulnerability his superpower. Drake leaned into honesty, emotion, and melodic flow, something few rappers dared to do at the time. He opened up about heartbreak, doubt, and love without worrying about looking soft. Songs like Marvin's Room and Take Care didn't try to make him look tough. They made him sound real. He wasn't selling danger, he was selling relatability. And that hit people differently. It worked like magic. Drake became that rare rapper who could drop a heartbreak anthem and still keep the streets nodding their heads. Both women and men connected with his music because it was honest and catchy at the same time. He built his empire by being authentic, or at least by being authentic to his lane. He didn't need to fake it, not at first anyway. Meanwhile, Kendrick Lamar was walking an entirely different path. He wasn't focused on pop appeal or emotional hits. He was chasing artistry, truth, and meaning. Inspired by greats like Tupac, Nas, and Andre 3000, Kendrick took storytelling to another level. He didn't just rap, he taught, he challenged, he painted pictures with words. When you press play on albums like Good Kid, M.A.A.D. City, or To Pimp a Butterfly, you're not just listening to songs, you're entering a world. Every bar carries purpose. Every track feels like a chapter in a novel. Kendrick made hip-hop feel sacred again, like poetry for the people, written by someone who actually lived it. Listening to Kendrick's music isn't just hearing songs, it's experiencing stories. Every album is built like a movie, full of concepts, hidden messages, and philosophical gems wrapped in beats that still make your head nod. Meanwhile, the difference between him and Drake became clear real fast. Drake was laser-focused on making hits, songs that owned the radio, crushed the charts, and took over playlists worldwide. He had this insane talent for knowing exactly what sound the culture wanted next, and then mastering it.
Just didn't, it wasn't that I wasn't cool, it was that the kids that were cool, I wasn't on their wavelength, which made me sort of uncool, I guess.
One day he's smooth talking over that Toronto R&B sound, the next he's gliding on Atlanta trap beats, then out of nowhere he's blending Caribbean dancehall or UK drill into his catalog. Drake's like a musical shapeshifter, always evolving, always finding a new rhythm to ride, and that adaptability made him unstoppable commercially. But while Drake was chasing global domination, Kendrick Lamar was chasing something else: evolution. He wanted to move the culture forward, not just make hits. His albums were crafted like essays, complex, layered, and deep, the kind you had to replay 5 times just to catch every metaphor. When To Pimp a Butterfly dropped, it flipped everything. It wasn't your average club record, it was jazz-infused, poetic, revolutionary rap that made people sit down and think. That's where the real divide started forming in the culture. Drake was proving hip-hop could rule the mainstream, breaking streaming records, selling out stadiums, working with the biggest pop stars in the world. He became the symbol of rap as a global brand. But Kendrick, he was proving that hip-hop could still be soulful, meaningful, and revolutionary, something bigger than numbers. 2 kings, 2 empires, one chasing the charts, the other chasing the truth. While Drake was running the charts, Kendrick Lamar was running the critics. He was collecting every major trophy hip-hop had to offer: Grammys, awards, and respect from the genre's real day one fans. He had Dr. Dre and Eminem backing him up, co-signing his greatness. And then he did what no rapper had ever done before. He brought home a Pulitzer Prize for his album Damn. That win officially placed him in a league of his own, the definition of artistic credibility. That created one of the wildest balances in modern music. Drake became the commercial king, while Kendrick became the critical king. For a while, that dynamic worked perfectly. They stayed in their own lanes without stepping on each other's toes. Drake dominated streaming platforms and Billboard charts, while Kendrick dominated award shows and classrooms, where professors were literally teaching his lyrics. But like they say, there's only room for one king on the throne. As both their influence exploded, fans started asking the ultimate question: who's really the best rapper of this generation? That's when things started to shift from friendly competition to something much deeper. Drake's numbers were insane. Over 170 million records sold worldwide, breaking streaming records left and right, inspiring an entire new wave of melodic rappers. His stats screamed legend. But Kendrick had something numbers could never buy: cultural weight. He had that respect that lives forever.
Tupac inspired me just a simple way how he, put his words together. You really felt them. You felt the passion behind them. They meant something not only to him, but when you heard it, you actually got a full experience rather than just words. But you actually felt his words. And that's something that I was inspired to, put in my music.
A song that gave hope and power to people beyond the music itself. So when fans started comparing the two, the debate became philosophical. What matters more, being the biggest or being the most meaningful? Is greatness about fame and stats, or about art that changes the culture forever? That's the real question behind this beef, and it's why the rivalry will never truly die. At the end of the day, this entire battle was about 2 different visions of greatness. Drake represented hip-hop's commercial empire, proving that rap could go mainstream, dominate the globe, and break every record imaginable. He turned hits into headlines and made hip-hop the heartbeat of pop culture. Kendrick, on the other hand, stood for artistic purity and integrity, and showing that rap isn't just entertainment, it's high art, with soul, purpose, and legacy. He carried the torch for truth-telling and depth in a world chasing numbers. Both paths are powerful, both changed the game forever. But when ambition meets ego, a clash was bound to happen. This wasn't just about bars, it was about what being the real king truly means. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to SpillHood for more deep dives into the biggest stories shaking the culture. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.